You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. You may not have experienced this exact thing before, but you are designed to be functioning at a much higher frequency than you are in this world right now. There has been so much effort put into restricting you, getting you to go into fear and guilt and shame and all of those things. You know, just as we always say, think back to your school years where you're asked to sit in a desk and you're told off if you speak, and you can't play with your friends the way you want, and you've got to go through excruciating long afternoons of doing math problems that you aren't interested in. You have been systematically lowered. So in a lot of ways, what's happening is you are bouncing back up to where you would naturally be if you had been raised in a loving, well-educated, compassionate family, if you had been fed healthy foods, if you had been educated in a way that was compassionate and loving and kind, if you had been trained in what your feelings are and how thought creations happen, the laws of creation. If you had been raised in that way, you would be at a high frequency. And that is what is happening on some other planets and other societies, because they have gone through this breaking free of the dark net, we'll call it. They are now only having children when there's a conscious couple that come together who want to create a child together. There's no teenage pregnancies. There's none of this promiscuous sex when you're drunk on the weekend in a bush party. All of the things that are quote unquote normal in your society, these are unheard of in highly evolved societies. So what you have is a systematic holding. If you think about a beach ball, what does it do when you throw it on a swimming pool? It floats. That's its natural state. Well, what's happened to you as a society is as if that beach ball has been held underwater. So you are not in your natural state at all. Your natural state is to be on top of the water. So what's happening now with these increasing energies coming to the planet and these the many beings who have been incarnated into physical form at this time to assist you in your escape from shadow, let us say. The beach ball is going to rise back up to sit on top of the water. So that's the process that you're in right now. So for example, when we first began energetically working on our dear one, she had done 12 years of intense forgiveness practice, re-education, studying the course, learning the course, amongst many other ordinary things, lessons that she was learning in her life. When we had access to her physical form, what happened was she reached a point of consciousness where we could have easy access, and we knew that she was holding a frequency where the seeming imposition of these energies would not frighten her. So she had evolved her consciousness enough to understand what was happening to her energetically. And so as we sent what you would call probes or investigatory consciousness into her bodily form, what we were working on with those big energy systems, those energy transfers that we were pervading through her body, were these microscopic connections. So in the DNA structure, there has been, through what you would call genetic engineering, we would say disconnection of many powerful intersections that give you access to what you would consider special abilities. So you understand that an ordinary human being in your world can hear and they can see and they can taste things and they can smell things and they can touch things, and all of that works. The information is fed through your neural system to the brain. The brain interprets those frequencies and gives you sensations that you experience as touch, sight, hearing, there's an entire electrical process that goes on with those, what you call 5 senses. Well, you actually have access to visionary senses. You have access to clairaudient and clairvoyant senses that through these manipulations over many, many millennia have been dissipated and disconnected. And those disconnections and those dissipations of your abilities have been exacerbated by the indoctrination into fear and control. You think back to historical times when women had no freedom and the church was oppressive and they were burning people who were healers. These were the control mechanisms that were used to shut everybody down. A lot of effort has been put into shutting you all down. So the reason we're telling you this is we don't want you to think it's weird to channel. We don't want you to think it's weird to heal. We don't want you to think it's weird to have clairaudient messages or clairvoyant messages. These are your natural inheritances that have been taken from you. This is why it is so important not to get, because this is one of those oppressive plans to keep you from your natural inheritance, which is what? Power. You have a lot of power. You have a lot of creative abilities. You have the ability to influence things beyond your ability to comprehend. An awakened human mind is a most powerful, powerful thing. It requires a tremendous amount of effort to shut it down and make it dumb. And that is what these systems have been doing for a very, very long time. So the first thing we want you to do is to alter your opinion of yourselves. See yourselves as unlimited potential. You have these incredible abilities that are coming back to you. Our dear one's experience with the Course in Miracles was a key. The Course in Miracles was the practice that opened the door to this ability. And what you're seeing and what she is seeing, much to her consternation, is that this ability is opening up in many, many people very, very quickly. She does not wish people not to be able to channel, but there is a little bit of her that says, well, how come it took me 12 years of doing the course and for some people it's only taking a year? Well, that's because the speed up of this galactic experience is making things easier and easier and easier. So for you who want to experience new things, what we say is dedicate yourself, dedicate your time to what you love. Do not just dedicate your time to reading the course and studying the course and practicing your lessons. That's one aspect of your job. But one of the other aspects that is very, very distorted in your society is this idea of joy, this idea of enjoyment, this idea of relaxation. There are many, many people who have this overwhelming urge to have a nap and they ignore it. They have got things to do that are much more important. And here we are with upgrades for you, but you have to be napping for us to give them to you. So in that cultural conditioning, oh no, I have to keep going. I have this job that has to get done. They are missing out on a nap download. So our dear one was taught very, very early that napping was a part of her spiritual practice. It was not laziness. It was not any of that. It was an access point for spirit to get in touch with her. So one of the things that we would say to those of you that want more conscious contact with your guides and teachers is take a nap in the day. Go counter to your conditioning, go counter to the productivity mandate that your society is constantly pushing at you, and make time for a half-hour nap in the day or a 45-minute nap in the day. Some of you will say, well, I don't feel very productive after a nap. And we say, exactly. We say, exactly. This time is a time of rebalancing. The system in which you've been raised, the system that you deem normal is aberrant and out of balance. So this is a time for you to rebalance. And this is one of the upsides of those lockdowns that you went through last year. Some of you are still going through. These are opportunities for you to deepen your spiritual practice. What we want you to understand is that you are all naturally, wonderfully creative. You have these abilities that are just waiting to pop to the surface. So you know all of the things that we tell you to do. Just keep doing your best to clean up your diet, drink more water, get out in the sunlight, cuddle your dog, write a poem, draw a picture, all of these things that we say do, and you will know what it is for you because you'll be interested in it, you'll be curious. Some of you have got to go through a quite considerable process of just slowing down first. When you have this production mentality, just slowing down will create space for the divine to begin to connect with you. So